Okay, thank you. Let's wait for Greg to get back and then we'll proceed.
All set.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you. Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for October 28th.
Second.
Right, any discussion? All in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. So I'm going to put a little break before we get into the budgets. Greg, I'm not sure if you want to talk to the handout that you passed out.
Well, based on, our discussions and talks, I know there were a couple of things that were requested. One of them was the recreation revolving fund revenues and expenses. So I passed out 24 revenues, 24 expenses, 25 to date revenue, and 25 to date expense.
Okay.
And then I also handed out the 2023 audit report excerpt for the special revenue funds and the custodial funds as a starting point, or, as the audit's not finalized for 24 yet, at least given the latest information that we have that's in a concise format.
Do we have expectation of when the audit report will be issued?
By the end of the year is my hope.
Okay.
So.
Thank you for sharing that, Greg. Oh, I'm sorry, Nolan, go ahead.
Isn't that typically done like early summer? Is that typically when it's completed?
Yes, it typically is. This year, we did have a single audit, which is additional audit steps because of the level of federal funds that we did receive. So that has caused things to take longer. And then also being shorthanded in the finance office for the summer has prevented me from getting everything done into the auditors. So some of it's on me, some of it's on the additional audit, testing and the like that they need to do on the federal funds.
I know A133 audits and Yellow Book audits are typically very time consuming. Was there additional fee for this additional audit? How much more was it, if you don't mind?
My
Usually
guess is going to be in the neighborhood of $2,500 to $3,500.
Okay, that's not bad, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's really not bad from what I see. Any questions on the information that the town manager passed out at this point before we get into the budgets?
So the revolving fund has a balance of zero in it, correct? Is that,
What's that?
the revolving fund has a balance of zero in it? Is that
No, it
correct?
doesn't. In the 23 report, if you look for the recreation line item, you'll see it has approximately $30,000 of fund balance as of 12/31/2023. And then it's lost $2,000 to $3,000 last year, 24, and it looks like we're a little behind in 25. So I'd say roughly it's got $25,000 in it at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Greg. Any further questions on these two?
Just a comment about the revolving fund. I guess going back and looking at the warrant article that created it, and I think that was the last time that Plastow was allowed to sort of put the intention on the ballot of what the revolving fund was for and things like that. Before we were told that we were not allowed to do that anymore. But my understanding is that the revolving fund to have expenditures, it pretty much can be used for anything so long as the Board of Selectmen and the Recreation Committee agree or vote, to expend from it. Is that still the case? I mean,
I have to go back and read the language of the warrant article.
well,
A revolving fund is typically for self-supporting in and out type programming. You offer a course, a class, a project, you set the fee, you pay the expenses out of it, so it's separate from the general fund. But is allowed to accumulate money to help fund additional, it's a revolving account, if you will.
okay. Yeah, so I think, I just have the language handy. So Article P19, shall the town vote to authorize the establishment of a recreation revolving fund as authorized by RSA 35-B:2, Roman numeral 2, for the purpose of depositing revenue from recreation programs to authorize the Recreation Commission with approval from the Board of Selectmen to expend from this fund for recreation purposes without further action of the town meeting. Let's see, go on. All right, so I guess, so I mean, conceptually, we could use that to offset, some aspect of the recreation department if we wanted to, I would think. So if there was a hypothetically, $20,000 in the revolving fund, then we should be able to offset, what the recreation department's asking.
Absolutely not.
Okay, well, why not?
Because of the language. You just can't take from a revolving fund and transfer it to the general fund to offset taxes.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm not offsetting. I'm just saying that the recreation department has X amount of money that it can use for recreation purposes. All right, and they're asking for a budget allotment of whatever. So, I mean, from our side, knowing that there's a balance in that revolving fund, then, I would say that we should, kind of reduce what's being asked for the recreation department. And then they can do whatever they want with the revolving fund, as it relates to recreation department stuff.
That's something I can bring back to the selectmen, and then we can talk to the rec commission about it. But
About what?
that's something I can bring back to the selectmen to discuss.
Yeah, but we could do it here as a budget committee. I mean, we could,
Discuss how you want.
All right, so I move that the recreation department be reduced by budget that was previously approved, be reduced by $20,000.
I'll second it.
All right, any further discussion?
Yeah, and I guess the intent is what I'm talking about. If there's money at the recreation department can be used, I say they use what's in the revolving fund to do recreation-related stuff and effectively, from our perspective, save the taxpayers some money and not
I
double
understand.
count it.
So the history of the revolving fund, when was that placed on the ballot, Greg? Jay, do you know? Richard?
Mr. Anthony has the minutes, so he should be able to tell us.
5 minutes.
21?
I think it was, was it 19, I think, wasn't it? Is that what I said? I had to scroll extensively.
I'm just
So it's a P-19, so I assume that's
You're
2019.
probably right. I just wonder what the history of that fund is, and has it gone up and down, or has it stayed flat in 5 years, 6 years?
Well,
Or has it been,
it's, as you said, they collect revenue in it.
Typically, it goes up and down because there's revenue brought in that is going to pay for those programs. So the revenue that's brought in is specific for that program, and then it's paid directly out.
yeah,
So it's
sometimes
like
you
a
win,
cash-
sometimes you lose, yeah.
It's almost like a pass-through, but I'll say right now, I'm going to vote no on that because it's a warrant article. So we would have to most likely have another warrant article to move those funds from the revolving fund into the general fund to utilize it in that sense.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to vote no because I don't have all the legal ramifications of that at the moment. So we'd have to
It
go
sounds like-
take it back and do some research on it.
Well, it sounds like it's, the warrant article is, saying that the selectmen and, can
Rec commissioner, yeah.
Yeah, they're the ones that authorize, discharges and things like that, so.
Okay. Nolan?
That's what I was going to say. So,
All right, sorry, John?
I'm going to vote no. First of all, I don't think we know enough to make a decision. Maybe everybody feels comfortable with the discussion so far, but before I would vote yes, I need to hear some more info.
Okay.
Including the years that it started and history of it through the,
Make a sound decision. I agree. So if,
Do you have something, Martin?
I was just going to add that I do know of 2 trips over the years that had been proposed. And it was like, okay, $55 for this trip. We leave at this time. We go here. We get back at this time. There's a box lunch. And not enough people signed up to cover that expense. There wasn't a bus full enough. So they contacted us and gave us our monies back so that they didn't lose it. So whoever was in charge of putting the trips together has been very on point about not going in the hole.
of course. Okay.
I don't understand what that has to do.
What she was explaining.
Okay. All right,
It was a trip to the Norman Rockwell Museum.
okay.
They had a bus that I believe held 60. They only had like 32 people show up. So we got a phone call saying the trip is canceled. Here's your money back. Because if the 30
wasn't gonna be
30 people
successful.
went, it wasn't going to pay, it wasn't going to break even. So they canceled the trip.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like that's what the fund is. It isn't like a break-even thing. It sounds like you're collecting fees and things like that that are aggregated in an account that can then be directed for rec-related things. And so
Oh.
I just read what the warrant is.
Right, but the intent of okay.
I mean,
I think we're also missing the legal definition of like what appropriation is. And so speaking with legal, just because you cut the budget by, and they have that money, even if we could, if you don't authorize the expenditure, then it doesn't matter what you get in. We're not authorizing the expenditure. So
we're not authorizing expenditure. We're
That's-
just cutting the budget by
You
20,000.
mean releasing the funds back into the general fund?
correct.
That's what you,
Yeah, if we cut that budget, it cuts the whole entire budget and it's
cuts the budget, it doesn't
appropriations.
release the funds, is what she's saying.
Okay.
I might even
But that's-
suggest, since we don't have enough information to make a decision, maybe we table it,
Sure.
right?
No, thank you. No, that's, I have a feeling it's going to fail anyway, so then I was going to table it and revisit it once we have more information.
You can fail it. Yeah, if we want more information, that's great. So if we can use it, I think we should,
Okay,
right?
so we'll table that motion.
We could just withdraw it.
Yeah, if you want to withdraw it or just, we can vote on it.
If we're going to actually do the research and come back with something, then sure, I withdraw my motion.
I will withdraw my second.
All right.
Okay, we'll look into that, guys. And before we go any further, we were going to have legal counsel here tonight to answer some RSA questions. Unfortunately, he's under the weather. He did offer to do a call or Zoom, but we recommend that we wait till he's here in person to be more intimate with a conversation instead of a Zoom call or a phone call. So the next meeting, we're going to try to have a legal counsel here to answer various RSA questions. And this would be a perfect example.
Yes. I mean, I actually have an RSA question for our legal, so I was hoping they would be there.
We were hoping he was here tonight. He called in, mentioned he was under the weather. He wasn't sure if he would make it. He recommended, or he suggested a phone call. We thought being in person would be much more meaningful than a phone call, talking to a person who you can't see or interact with.
Well, yes. I mean, I know I had brought it up to you, Mr. Chair, but I had actually gotten conflicting information from what you had received. And
Okay.
it's kind of pertinent to how we're operating this board. So having them not here this evening is, I think, is not doing us any helping the situation at all.
What are we talking about? I mean, is there,
I've had various RSA questions proposed to me this year, that's all.
yeah,
Whether it's procedures or staffing on the board or what have you.
Mine directly pertain to 3215, Section 5.
that's referenced in our rules and procedures. Is that the one you're talking about?
Well, this section is in our policy and procedure, we refer to chapter 32 as our ruling documents. And I just had concern with 3215 because it says no selectman, town manager, member of the school board, village district commissioner, full-time employee, or part-time employee, head of town, school district, or village district, or other associated shall serve as a member at large.
Yep. So I know that's been brought to legal counsel attention twice in the last 4 years. I've gotten the same answer both times. So I'm always going to defer it to counsel. It doesn't mean when he's not here, we can't revisit a third time. The last correspondence I had said the verbiage could be better. But because Timberlane is a district, not a town agency, that there's no conflict, is the way it's been presented to me both times.
Well, I think the verbiage is pretty clear, to be honest. It's,
I always default to the legal counsel instead of,
yeah, well, yes. I mean, we've had another issue in the school district with not following procedure. So like, I just want to make sure we're in accordance with.
of course, no, you want to be in compliance because you have to be in compliance, if nothing else. So I don't disagree, we have to be in compliance. The 2 times I've looked into that, which has been at least 2 times in 3 years, maybe 2 times in 4 years, I got the same answer from 2 different individuals at, the state. So I'm going to assume they're more knowledgeable than I am.
Did you call the New Hampshire Municipal Association, or did you call the Attorney General's office?
No, it's our legal counsel. It's the New Hampshire Legal Council for Municipalities.
That's the
Municipal
NHMA.
NHMA.
Okay. That's sort of, we're a member of the New Hampshire Municipal Association, but that's sort of, just you can chat with somebody who's a staff attorney of some kind, but that's not like a legal ruling or anything. You know what I mean? Or a legal opinion.
It was their legal opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of call. I don't know. I know the name of the person who responded. I haven't checked their credentials to see what their.
Well, I guess what I'm saying, there's a difference between
I
someone
don't
calling up
know.
and saying it on the phone that it's okay.
No,
But then, I mean, if you call, let's say, the Attorney General's office, what do you do if you get something different from the Attorney General's office that says that, yeah.
the Attorney General would have final say.
Well,
Usually, but usually, if the Attorney General responds.
So why don't we wait and have this discussion with the legal counsel next week,
all right, well,
rather than
Yeah. Next week's.
Well,
assume and go
well, we're
back
not
and forth.
assuming. I think we're just saying that, is there something that we should be doing that's a little more prudent? Let's say there is some sort of granularity to it, right?
I've asked a question twice and I've gotten the same
No.
answer, black and white, twice.
All right, so, but, I'll put it out. Do you think perhaps maybe you should recuse yourself, Ms. Knutson, if in the event, until we wait, there's some sort of legal ruling or something?
Legal's already been advised. They've given the ruling. So we're going to go with that.
Can we see the ruling?
Your chair just stated that he's talked to him twice.
I've sent the email to Mr. Pelletier. I can forward it to the rest of the board.
Well,
So it's been asked and answered. So we're going to
Well,
move on until you have legal next week.
So let's.
Moving on.
Let's proceed. No, let's proceed. If it decides any votes, we can go back and revisit. If legal has a different point of view, the third time I ask.
all right, it just, I guess the principle of do no harm or less harm or something like that sort of applies here, right?
No.
So like if there is something that's like, well, yeah, maybe your rules and procedures could have been a little more robust. Maybe you should have had something in your rules and procedures that said that you can suspend your rules and procedures if it's problematic. But as it stands now, I mean, it just pretty much says that if you're a member of the school board, there are no distinctions attached to that. It says that you can't be on the budget committee.
Mr. Anthony, it's been brought to legal twice for
So-
that, and it's been moved on. So we're moving on. We can ask
You're not
legal
the
a third time.
chair, Ms. Knutson.
No.
all right?
But you're
Okay.
also not monopolizing time, and we're moving on.
Okay, but you're not the chair.
We're moving
So-
on.
Point of order.
I guess we're moving on, Mr. Chairman.
No, point of order. So Richard, when legal's here, we'll revisit that.
Okay.
The fact that I've asked the question twice, I'm going to proceed assuming the 2 times I've asked has been accurate. And if it's not accurate, then we'll go back and revisit the votes as they were.
Get a reply in writing.
Yep. All questions are always in email.
Well,
There's no confusion with email verbiage versus conversation.
was it a lawyer
Yep.
or was it a paralegal? Was it
It was
staff
it was
of
an-
some kind?
It was an attorney. I can forward it to you. Unfortunately, I don't have town email on my phone for privacy concerns, so I can't access it right now. So the first budget, we started last week. We tabled it to move on to a different set of budget. So I'm going to go back and start on page 1. The first budget is the executive budget. That's my summary page.
We've got multiple documents. Which one is the one?
Page 1.
The wide.
The wide one, the page one.
All right. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Page one. Yeah.
So the proposed budget is 288,589. Last year was 282,684. That's an increase of about 6,000.
All right.
Personnel,
One sec,
and
please.
positions.
Dues. Rental and leases.
This went up a little bit.
Increase in postage.
Postage, town manager, that's about it. Admin position.
I move that we reduce the executive budget by 5%.
Do I have a second?
I will second it.
Based on what?
Any discussion?
I'm sorry, who was the second?
Nolan was the second.
Yeah, so my question, John beat me to it. Based on what?
Based on what? That we're in a high inflationary environment. Taxes keep going up. I think we've had a reevaluation that's shifted the tax burden to the residents. And I think 5% brings it pretty much in line with at least honoring the taxpayers. So I think
It's in line with what? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
honoring the taxpayers and the money that they pay. So I think a reduction of 5% is fine.
Why that number, though? Based on what?
All right, it's single digits. It's close to what the increase kind of is. I mean, it's 2%, I think, so, but 5% is an even number, so.
Okay. Any other discussions, comments?
Yeah, that seems random.
Seems what?
Random.
Not really.
The number you chose seems random.
Yeah, I'd like to make it as
Based on
flat
any
as possible.
calculation.
I'd make it as flat as possible.
Greg, are there-
5%.
To be fair, we
Go
actually,
ahead, Jay.
Greg, are there any contractual obligations in this budget?
In this budget here,
The executive budget?
except for probably, salaries, no. Most everything is year to year, like the website increase and things of that nature. But as I look down through it, I would say no.
And mostly the increases are,
Salary
there's been
related.
increases and decreases, but the majority of the increases are due to salary.
Correct.
So Greg, how would a 5% decrease in this budget impact the town?
Well,
From an operation point of view.
it's, if you look at it specifically from a single department, if it was just one department, if their intention is cutting the entire budget by 5% across every single department, then we're talking services, police, fire, things of that nature.
Right.
So it's hard to specifically say what it would be if it was only one department.
All right, so all the salary here is a contract salary?
There, the current employees, and that is my contract that is in here. It is the office staff, it's the admin, that helps the Board of Selectmen support, operations, town hall, the website, things of that nature.
Okay. Thanks for explaining.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments before we
I
put it
have
to a
a
vote?
question I'd like
Yes,
to ask the
Margot.
town manager.
Yep.
Sir, I know that there has been in the past a approval for an assistant town manager to help with everything you're doing, and you're also short downstairs by 2. How is that hiring process going? Do you have anybody in the works, or is it still just out there?
No, we had an assistant town manager start 2 Mondays ago.
Oh,
So,
we have fulfilled
yes,
that.
we have filled that position. Yes,
Very good, thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, any other discussions or questions? All right, all in favor with the proposal of cutting the budget by 5%? 2. All opposed? All abstained? All right.
And I should add this earlier, but basically I removed the salaries from that, and a 5% reduction would have been $3,000 on that budget.
Because
We removed the contractual piece of that budget. So it would actually only be a $3,000 decrease.
All right, thanks, Jay. The next budget on the agenda is,
It's not the same budget, right?
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Kate, yeah.
I'm
a
gonna,
motion.
yeah, I'm gonna make a motion to approve the executive budget of $208,589.
Do I have a second?
I'll
Second.
second it.
Say again, I couldn't hear
I
you.
made a motion to approve the executive budget for the amount that has been put forth.
Margot, you second?
I'll second it, yes.
Any discussion?
I'll just point out that, as we're fond of saying, that this is a bottom line budget. So if we're talking about like reducing a particular line, department here budget by a certain amount of money, you're not materially impacting, any particular individuals, his salaries or anything like that. It just means that you would have to prioritize those things that are important. All right. So everyone would get paid. Critical things, would be prioritized, and things that would be luxuries perhaps wouldn't. All right. So, looking at a line item saying that, oh no, it's we're not going to be able to pay people. That's not quite accurate. So,
Understood. Any other discussions, comments? I'm sorry, go ahead, Nolan.
I think we owe it to the taxpayers to at least try to make an attempt to lower this budget so it's more palatable to them. So I'm gonna be a no. I mean, maybe if we reopen this and maybe made it a cut of 2.5%, I would be a yes. But if we're gonna just keep going down the line and approving everything without actually doing any due diligence, then I'm gonna be a no on this vote.
What do you see in the budget as a luxury?
Those
those are my words. My words are that this you probably have $200,000, $300,000 worth of a leeway in the budget. All right, just we would see that, I guess, if you looked at the audited financials, right? So that being
In
said,
the executive budget, what do you see as a luxury? That's
I
what
don't
my
know. I
question
just see a
is.
line item, and I just think that, maybe anything between a 2.5% to a 5% reduction. I think that's not onerous. And I think, we should do that. So,
If I may, Jay, I mean, if I have like a vision board here. I don't have any granularity. I can't see any of these transactions. I just see a bottom line number. So to actually figure out what is a luxury and isn't a luxury would be impossible with a sheet of paper.
Understood, Nolan. I'm trying to think of the transactions that would occur in this budget that would stand out. And I mean, nothing stands out I understand without detail tied to how to speculate, but these numbers are so small and none of these expenses are unusual and compared to history, whether it's supplies, telephone, website, postage. I mean, I don't see really anything that has any meat on it, just from his historic point of view and, just realistic point of view from this budget. So any other discussions in regards to this budget as is proposed? All right, so all in favor of passing this budget?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
Any abstained? All right, thank you.
6-2.
The next budget on the agenda is the town clerk.
I move to reduce the town clerk budget by 2.5%.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion on that?
And that's, again, using the same logic as,
That there's more than 2.5% slack in the budget. So,
I'm sorry, I have a hearing problem.
yes, there's more than 2.5% slack in the budget. So that being said, that would be roughly in line with, 2.5% would probably be close to, if we were looking at the total budget, approximately $300,000. So
Where do you
Plus or
see,
minus.
where do you see the slack in the town clerk's
again,
budget?
so we know the town budget historically has at least $200,000 to $300,000 that you have in it. It's not,
That's
so
surplus at the end of the year. That's a really lean budget. In a $13 to $14 million budget, a $300,000
we're asking,
is really lean.
okay.
So take a step back. So last year there was what was the surplus last year, guys? 300,000 or so?
Roughly.
And how much did the Board of Selectmen use to offset this year's tax rate?
300.
So the surplus that was last year was paid forward to offset this year's tax rate, which reduced the tax rate by what, 15 cents?
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine. I think, the budget is, we know
I know.
it has that much in it. So instead of
I
waiting,
understand. I know what
all right. I'm not asking if you understand it. I'm just saying, I'd like to say out loud that, let's perhaps realize some savings upfront rather than having to wait a year.
My
so that's great.
concern with not having that $300,000 buffer, right, is that you end up having to probably take a tax anticipation note because it becomes a cash flow issue. And then you're going to end up spending money to borrow money to cover the little deficit the little difference that we have between the actual and what was expended. You're just,
Yeah. I don't,
you're running a fine line.
So, thank you, Jay, for that. What's the recommended reserve for a town?
Between 5 and 17%,
We're currently at,
less than 8, I believe, after we set the tax rate.
correct. So we're more than below, we're right in the middle of it, the requested, a little less than requested rate.
how about a real budget example, like where we prioritize things? Like I think 2024, what is it, 2025? Yeah. We overspent snow removal, right? So you had to prioritize what you were going to spend. So again, not everything is absolutely necessary, right? Removing of snow was more necessary, all right? So you went $70,000 over, and assuming, a critical services cut, was there any,
Go ahead, Nolan.
There was a deliberative, there was a motion that failed that was carrying an extra $100,000 to pay for the statistical reevaluation. So that had to come out of our funds, correct? Because that wasn't carried. And how much was that?
I'm not following your question.
So, last year, there was a proposal at the deliberate.
There was yes, they proposed $100,000
Increase to the budget.
Carry for the statistical reevaluations.
Correct.
That did not pass.
Correct.
We still went through with the statistical reevaluations. at a cost of,
Correct, because the voters at my memory said, we're not raising the budget for it. You need to
Right.
find the money in the budget. They didn't say no to the statistical update. They said no to adding money to the budget to pay for it.
So your question is, what was the dollar amount, Nolan? Or what happened?
so, yeah, so there was, we spent that additional monies out of the existing budget.
I guess what you're saying is, what did we deprioritize
Yes.
We haven't
to make up that?
we haven't deprioritized anything, so to speak. We've had some vacancies with employees and the like, and with the roll-up costs. And I'm not sure that we have fully absorbed all of it at this point. So we're still in the beginning of November. We have 2 months of expenses. So if we get a lot of snow between now and December 31st, we'll overspend the budget.
Holly, we're going to wait till the end for public comment?
After each budget or at the very end?
At the very end. Sorry.
All right, so I guess if we're still discussing, then, okay, we have some real numbers. You have like $100,000 that you needed to find, and then you had $70,000 that you overspent for snow removal. So that's roughly, for what you're currently asking. We know that there's that much slack in the budget.
Potentially.
No, actually.
But you don't have a crystal ball. You could get.
No, I'm
200
just saying, we know right now, it's for all intents and purposes, this is last year's budget plussed up. So we can safely say that there's $170,000, rounded up to $200,000. So I mean, if that's like a 1.2%, if that's 1.2%, then, I'd say make 1.2% reductions across the board.
Okay.
But then as last year, that helped because we didn't have some of those positions unfilled, right? So that helped with that impact. This year, some of those positions are filled. So now, there's not a lot of slack.
So Richard, you made a motion, correct? And Nolan second?
I think you're in the middle of approving this budget, right? Yeah, no, I did make a motion, yeah. The motion's
I'm
on the
just recalling,
floor.
there was a motion on the floor.
Yeah.
So it's up to a vote.
Okay. Any further discussions?
Restate the motion, please.
Do you want to restate it, Richard?
All right, so this is the what? Clerk's office?
Town
Town
clerk
clerk's
budget.
office.
Yeah, so I move to reduce the town clerk's office by 2.5%.
All right, and Nolan second. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor of reducing the town clerk's budget by 2.5%? All in favor?
Oh, sorry.
All opposed? Abstained? All right. The next budget is
You
the,
make a motion to approve this budget.
We haven't approved this one yet.
That's why I'm
you're
going for
right,
it.
she's,
Make a motion to approve the town clerk's budget of $146,267.
Second.
all right. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Any abstained? All right, thank you. The next budget is the election budget. Last year, the budget was 32,000. This year it's about 17,000.
It's down by 14.
I think
almost
last year we had to buy
$15,000.
equipment, additional equipment, right, guys? That we don't have to buy this year? That's the reason why there's a decline from last year?
Yes.
Yes,
The voting machine decreases 18,000, but it went from 1 election to 3 elections.
Yep, and I did watch the Board of Selectmen meeting, and I know you asked a question in pertaining to that, so 17,000 should be enough to cover the election fees.
Is that correct? I didn't hear the discussion, but is what he just said, is that accurate?
Yes.
It's difficult to compare from one year to another because it depends on how many elections you have.
Right, and last year we had additional equipment we had to purchase.
Yeah. Now, and that was mandated by the state,
Yes, sir.
right? Okay,
Yeah, voting machines. The voting machines.
yeah. Makes it hard to compare year to year. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
I move to reduce the elections budget by 5%.
Excuse me, isn't there a motion on the floor?
No, he's the first one.
I apologize.
Nope, you're good.
I'll second it.
Yep. So that's 5% is $878. So
All right, any discussion?
that's,
I would just say that this budget's already been reduced by $14,000,
From
so,
last year?
yeah, from last year.
I'm just looking at the line items to see. You got printing, software, supervisor, which isn't much. That's the extent of it.
I will add that the town clerk, if she was here, would say that because we have new voting machines, we're unsure of the cost of programming them to be able to read and accurately count our ballot. Because they are new machines, we've never experienced that cost. She neglected to put that additional cost in the budget. So it's
it's a very-
already could be light by the amount that they will charge to program the 3 machines.
And who does that, the state or a private contractor?
Private contractor does that.
Thank you.
Any other comments? All in favor of the proposed cut? Any opposed? Any abstained?
I'll make a motion to approve the election budget of $17,574.
Any seconds?
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion?
I'm sure if it was, if you needed, you could find $878 somewhere in the budget. And if it was, something that was really bad, massive programming issues and cost overruns on paper and testing and things like that, you would find it in other parts of the budget. So
All right, noted. All in favor of the motion? Any opposed? Any abstained? All right, the next budget is the finance budget. Last year, this budget was 173,000. This year, it's 178,400. Essentially, the only increase is salary.
Salary and audit costs.
Oh, yep, sorry. Okay.
Salary and what?
Audit costs.
Audit cost.
What's your annual audit fee? Not to put you on the spot.
I want somewhere,
If anybody's got a town report.
18
it's
or
in the
19.
Town report.
18 or 19,000, I believe.
And how many CPA firms can do that in the state of New Hampshire? Not that, I know it's off topic, but
Well, there are 3 that I know of. There's 3 main firms that do the lion's share of the governmental work.
so you really, 19,000 is more than fair.
Oh, more than fair. I've seen bids for smaller towns and smaller school districts that have gone out that are more than ours.
Yeah.
So it is very fair.
Make a motion to approve the finance we can still wait for him to come
I
back.
had
I'm sorry.
questions.
Oh, go ahead.
My
I'm sorry,
hand's
I'm
up,
sorry,
so-
Nolan. Yep, go ahead.
On the first line item, salaries and accounting, how many salaries are in that line item?
Well, so the finance director, the assistant finance director / payroll clerk, we have 3 trustees of trust funds. So there's a multitude of
How many-
pay that comes out of there. So 5 or 6.
So 5 or 6. And then in the benefits that's in a different category, right?
That's under human resources, correct?
That's in the personnel administration budget, yes.
So I know that I've asked, these are the things that I personally would like to see because it just says salaries / accounting. So I don't know if you're paying out to accounting firms as a separate entity or if that's different or if that's in that same line item that you're carrying for salaries.
That's all
Am I
important.
mistaken, or is this all in-house on that line item?
This is now all in-house. The The account name, at one point, we did outsource our payroll, so that's probably that change. It just has never been removed, but it is all in-house at this point.
Okay. And just, moving forward, will we be able to get this information per budget so we can review that?
You mean employee count?
I mean, I know Mr. Chair, I've been asking for more granularity within these budgets, so I can actually look at these budgets as, line item per line item. So we can actually make a decision. If there is any fat to be trimmed, we can actually see it. When it's put forward in this format, it's very difficult to just, you ask, it's been brought up tonight, where are you going to get it from? It's like, well, you can't really see it. These are just bottom line numbers, and we're not seeing line item transfers. We're not seeing what's going in, what's coming out. We're just seeing what's spent. So
So would it be like, in this case, for the description, would you want to see the total finance director salary, like, next to it in the description?
yeah, I mean, if we had the salaries, that if we had
So you want the breakdown of
the
salaries.
breakdown of, how many people are in each department, what those salaries are per person. I know we can't really see the associated. I mean, I find it odd that the associated costs with healthcare are not included within that department. I think that's the way it actually should be. Obviously, I don't think that's what's happening, because that's really the cost per department.
Right. Greg, do you want to speak to why HR is split out from the department? Is it because people serve in multi-departments?
That, as well as with single person departments, the sharing of additional information that may be of a personal nature, such as a family plan versus, a two-person and the like, that employees it was done, to my knowledge, years ago, to protect the privacy somewhat of the employees as well. And it just has remained that way instead of breaking it out to all departments.
That's true. I was part of that discussion and that change.
Well, that makes sense.
What
Yeah,
you
if you have
just
a
said is
department with
true.
one person and you see the family plan is 30,000 a year, it's really easy to figure out who's on the family plan.
It is public information, though.
What's listed in the HR aspect of what the benefits are. Just you can't pinpoint to which town employee is on that plan.
You want to make the motion?
Yeah. Any other questions in regards to the finance budget? We need a motion.
Make a motion to approve, sorry.
I second it.
Okay. Any further discussions?
What was the motion? I didn't hear
I'm
it.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Finance budget by
So Nolan was,
2.5%.
yeah, Nolan made a motion before Katie made her motion to reduce the budget by 2.5%, correct?
Correct.
Richard seconded.
So that's what we're voting on.
Yeah. the
Right now, we're voting on
2.5%
Nolan's
reduction.
motion.
Yep.
Any discussions in regards to that?
I guess, I'll just sort of, spin off the idea of positions that might not be filled and things like that.
Right.
Right. I mean, if there is somebody that's out on active duty orders, I don't think we should be funding.
No, we're going to get to that when we get back to the police department.
But it also applies generically for anyone. If there's an open position, I guess I'd like to know about it. If there's, so that we can identify it and just say that,
I
and
think-
how much is it worth?
I think we provided a sheet that
Well, no, Greg sent
showed
an
you
email. I
department and how many positions there were and how many were open, right? So I think right now, all through the town, there's 3 open positions.
Okay.
To be fair, I don't think that Mr. Anthony received that. I was slung, it was just passed to me at the beginning of last meeting, was never in our meeting folders.
Didn't you send it out?
I believe I forwarded, but it was late. It was right before last week's meeting.
How much are those 3 positions worth? I mean, if we're looking to reduce budgets,
Yep, so it was,
then we have concrete numbers that we can point to. Like,
Yeah,
how
so
much is that worth?
what 3 positions are open, Greg? Highway, police, the police had one. I forget what the 3rd position was.
I'm drawing the blank.
And to be fair, Mr. Chair,
The highway, yes. The recreation department, we don't have a rec director right now, but we're actively looking
And
for
police was
it.
the third.
And police, right, but they're actively looking for a person.
So those are the 3 open positions in the town. As of last week. Yes, Nolan?
to be fair, even we were handing that sheet with numbers, but there was no cost associated with those.
No, just quantity of people, quantity of employees.
Yes, so I'm just saying, there was no associated cost, and there was no associated cost of healthcare, human resources also associated with those positions.
Yep.
It was just a sheet of,
Open positions. Yep. So when we get to those budgets, we can bring those up and we can table those budgets until we have that information. So it's highway, and highway, police, and rec. So that information will be obtained, and I'll share the salary per position that's available.
Do we have an HR director?
I don't,
Excuse me?
Do we have an HR director?
Part of the duties of the assistant town manager are over HR.
Right, but we don't have, do we have any, I guess what I'm saying is that, what do we, apart from filled positions, do we have contractors? Do we have people that are doing contract work that might be retired and no longer living here? Are there people that are backup, let's say, inspectors, building inspectors, or something like that on a contract basis of any kind?
On a contract basis?
Well, yeah,
No,
whatever the
we don't have any
without-
contractual backup. No.
without sharpshooting the terminologies. I just want to know if there's somebody that's doing work and they're being paid and they're not showing up on, let's say, a list of an open position of some kind.
Well, if they're being paid to do a job, why would they be on the list of open positions? Because the position's not open.
I guess I don't know. I said, if they're doing work, but it's not a position that's being filled, then you're just sort of contracting. Just maybe you're not paying their benefits or something like that, but you're paying them
Like a part-time employee,
or a 1099 subcontractor.
maybe a subcontract.
part-time employee that was on the list. I'm very confused by your question, sir.
Okay, so there's no other population other than that's doing town work, that's being paid for town work, that's not, let's say, holding a roster position of some kind.
So by default, typically there's no outside labor other than one-offs, correct? It's not a habit of the town to hire subcontract labor when an employee can be doing the same position.
Correct.
Okay, so we have a motion. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor to reduce the budget, was it proposal 2.5%?
Yeah.
All right, all opposed? Any abstained? All right,
I make a motion to approve the finance department budget for $178,400.
Second.
all right, any further discussion? All in favor of the proposal? Any opposed? Any abstained? The next budget is the assessing budget.
This one's reduced.
So last year's budget was $130,420. The proposed budget was $348,000.
But didn't you all take it down by,
Yeah, we reduced it down to 123,000.
Yeah, so the Board of
Took out
Selectmen-
the contractual piece for the full reevaluation.
right?
Jay, could you state that number again, please? I didn't hear you.
25.
So
You reduced it down to 123 what?
945. Specifically, we reduced line 0141530312, the assessor's contract, from 304,625 down to 79,625. For a total bottom line budget of 123,945, which is 7,000 less than last year's budget.
did we not receive this revision? And I know it was physically, I know it was brought up.
It was in the
before, but I
packet, it was in the packet from last budget meeting.
Yeah, it had budget changes. There was a
It
paper.
had, there was a sheet that had budget changes on it, so. That's where we write them in.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, if we're working off of this, then we should get a revision of this budget sheet.
Right,
Just trying to save money and paper.
so basically what,
We can, if we want to be honest, Mr. Colby, we can save a whole bunch of money. We can just send this stuff out in Excel and we can just work off Excel. We don't need to print off paper. We can have laptops out here and then we can actually do that. So if we want to save money, I'm all for it. So
We can do that going forward. I mean, we have a screen right here. We could bring it up on the screen and we could all have it in PDF format. Going forward, I don't mind.
no, what he's saying is he wants a copy of it in a Excel spreadsheet.
Well, I don't know about Excel. I mean, I know I get it. I have it in PDF.
Should only be in PDF.
Anyways, back to the budget. So I know the Board of Selectmen made a significant reduction in that line item. Any other discussion on the assessing budget?
I move to reduce the assessing budget by $3,000.
What?
The assessing budget by $3,000. $3,000, yes.
I will second it.
Okay, any discussions in regards to that motion?
Why $3,000?
Looking for savings anywhere we can, all right? And I think that sounds like we've done the statistical update. So let's turn around and realize some savings on this budget instead of just passing on an increase to the taxpayers.
We've already brought it down
Bring it
7,000.
down more. Nothing wrong with that.
All right, any other discussion in regards to the motion? All in favor of the motion as presented? All opposed?
I make a motion to approve the assessing budget of $123,945.
Second.
Any discussion in regards to the proposal? All in favor of the proposal? All opposed? Any abstained? All right, the next budget is tax collector.
Page 6.
Last year's budget was about 53,000. This year's about 56.
It's up $2,600.
Make a motion to approve the tax collector budget for $56,551.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just from a rhetorical point of view, is there any savings that this budget committee wants to do, like 1%, even like $1 being thrown to the taxpayer, just to show that it's like, hey, you got inflation out there, you have your tax bill's going to be going up, everything's more expensive, and you're probably pricing people out of Plastow, right? So, I mean, you got people on fixed incomes that, you might not think it's a lot of money, but they do, all right? And there are people that are on fixed incomes that have to make a decision whether or not they're going to water their grass, right, in the summertime, because that's a luxury, right? And it's very expensive. Whether or not they're going to, what they're going to eat. Electricity is a big deal. All right, we're currently selling the idea that we have a co-op that's going to be coming online in Plastow, and you can turn around and maybe get a deal on electricity. All right, because electricity is very expensive. All right, so I just look at it this way: that we should be where we can make some real savings and not just pass on an increase and just say too bad. All right, we all know that it's not necessary. I mean, we all know what necessary means. Food is necessary, heat is necessary in the wintertime, and things like that. And I think we should conduct ourselves the same way that we expect other people to conduct themselves, and not just rubber stamp stuff without asking any questions whatsoever. And frankly, people on this board haven't asked anything, okay? All right, there hasn't been any real information that's been provided that you would do a budget on. So, I mean, if that's going to be the case, then, that's fine. You can do whatever you want and then just say that, you kind of went through the motions of validating
So,
what was passed to you.
1 second, Katie. So I hear you, Rich. I've had 2 family members that had to sell their house because of property tax in New Hampshire. I think it's a New Hampshire issue, not a town of Plastow issue.
Okay.
The income, the tax situation in New Hampshire. I don't want to get on my soapbox when it comes to taxes.
Cut the budget then, Mr. Chairman.
No, but then, so when I look at a budget and I see a rate, the only increase is salary and it's below cost of living, that
Okay.
answers my question. If I see items that have equipment or other significant increases, now I do my homework, I listen to all the Board of Selectmen meetings, I talk to Greg. So just because I don't ask questions here, doesn't mean I'm not knowledgeable.
I do all that stuff.
Okay.
All right. So I'm
So
not seeing any real information that leads me to say that just looking at these line items and, the perfunctory increases and little slight decreases, constitutes, it's bottom line, it goes up, right? It doesn't remain level, right? It always goes up, right? So,
Unfortunately, that's the world we live in.
And at what price do we look at across the board cuts? And earlier you said 5% across the board. At what, health and safety?
it's a bottom line budget, Ms. Collins.
At what expense do you want us to just take a 5% across the board cut and everything? I'm not willing to do that. I look at every single line. And when you bring up people on fixed income, I am on a fixed income.
That's good.
I make ends meet the best I can. I burn wood.
Okay. So for people that can heat, you go burn wood. All right.
Thanks, Margot. Katie?
Just, even though the budget is 14 million and some change that we're trying to put forth to the voters, the voters don't get taxed $14 million. Is that correct, Mr. Colby?
That's correct.
Okay, can you just do that little breakdown real quick of like it's revenue and it's
Commercial properties.
commercial
About
properties? and everything?
50% falls to the residents.
Okay,
How much?
50%.
roughly. Okay,
It was about 50%. It was less than 50% last year, if my math is right. About 25% comes from commercial. The other 25% comes from supplemental income.
Those are new numbers, Mr. Chair, or is that the,
I believe that was from the audit report from 2023.
so with the reevaluation, do we have those current numbers? Because there was a shift from commercial to residential.
I'll work with Greg. I did look at that, Nolan, either yesterday or Friday. I believe 50% is being more than generous, but I can share the math with you.
Yeah,
I'm pretty confident based on the new math that is still factual.
I could be mistaken, but I believe that there was a push. It was probably about 30. It was like 30% of the residents. Maybe it was,
It's more than half. That's falling on the residents. I think that's a fair assessment. More than half, not half. It's, I think, new
It was
information.
less than
is-
50% based on the 2023 audit report. So when I have the 24 audit report and the reevaluation, I can rerun the numbers. But historically, it's been under 50%.
right, but
You could be right.
the residential values went up at a higher value than the commercial. So
You could be right. I don't.
I'm
I don't
pretty
have
sure, I'm pretty sure I am right. on that.
Okay, we'll double check the math.
call the question.
I'm sorry, Katie, finish your question.
That was it. Just the yes, the budget might be $14 million, but not all of it is taxed to the
Oh, yes.
taxpayers.
Thank you.
That was just it.
Let's spend like crazy because we have
No,
revenue
it's
to
not
offset
spending
it.
like crazy.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so do we have a motion on the floor?
We do. Jay, I believe, made the motion and I seconded it.
All right,
Let's ram it through.
any,
Charlene, was that correct? That there was,
a motion? All
yeah, okay.
right, all in favor of the budget as is proposed? Any abstain? I'm sorry, any opposed? Any abstained? Tax collector?
That was tax collector. There we go.
Next budget, even though it's not on the agenda, I'm out of order here, should be legal. I'm sorry, Charlie, it's my fault. Greg, do you want to define what legal is and why it's reoccurring and why that this budget is
92,000.
92,000? It's down from 90 last year. So what exactly is legal expense to the town other than right to knows?
The legal expense of the town is some paying, I guess that would be a contractual service, Mr. Anthony, that we pay an outside firm for legal representation when it comes to, warrant articles, opinions, things that come up, but also to defend the town in court cases and/or BTLA cases that get filed before Rockingham in the court system. So
And also probably to negotiate collective bargaining agreement contracts and any other contract.
that is correct as well, which we do have. The town hall union contract is up in this year as well. So
All right, I'm sorry, go ahead, Nolan.
So just a question regarding legal. I am aware that planning board has its own legal counsel now, which I do believe was part of this original number, correct? That was covering legal for the whole.
in prior years, yes.
Yes. So with the remove, I know there's probably no actualized savings per se if you're splitting, because now that line item will fall under planning board, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So what would the savings be from that line item? I know it's not actualized savings if you're taking from one place and putting in another, but could there be a reduction in this number due to the change in legal counsel due to planning board? Not,
Well, the 24 budget was 80,000. We spent 110. In 25, we upped that to 97.5, which does include planning. Through 9 months, we have spent 76. We did, in looking at this, I reduced, look to reduce based on the actual expenses, but we also know that we have the potential of some court cases to defend and tax assessments and the like that are upcoming potentially in 2026, which based on estimates from the attorney could cost, I want to say, in the neighborhood of $70,000 to defend just one case if we take it to court. So the savings that you're asking about won't equate dollar for dollar because we have more potential legal than we did previous.
due to potential upcoming lawsuits?
Or pending.
Potential, we have been served with papers, yes. So we have a trial date of January 6th right now. If I'm not mistaken.
Is that Superior Court?
Rockingham, yes.
All right, do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the legal budget of $92,500.
Second.
I will second it. Oh,
Ted, second.
sorry, Ted. I'm sorry, Ted.
Any further discussion on legal? All in favor of legal as it's proposed? Any opposed? All right. I'm going to make this the final budget for tonight as we're approaching 8 o'clock. And I know we have public comments and other comments. So the next budget is human resource and personnel. This budget is up over last year, primarily due to health insurance and retirement. It's up more substantial, I guess, so.
Mr. Chair, do we have that information on all the insurance that we're carrying for the unfilled positions?
Is it, yeah, so you're asking, correct me if I'm wrong, if there's any insurance budgeted for people,
Correct.
for potential people that aren't hired, that had, for the open
Unfilled
seats?
posi-
Yeah.
Current unfilled positions.
So the 3 seats that are open, are we accruing potential health insurance expenses in this budget?
Yes.
Family plan is what we're accruing?
Normally, we'll split the difference and we usually put in a two-person plan, not a single, not a family, but we go in the middle with a two-person.
Okay. And what does a 2-person plan cost, do you know? Off the top of your head?
Somewhere between 20 and 25,000. Family plan is over 30.
Does that answer your question, Nolan?
So what's the total that we're carrying for unfilled positions? 5, you said 5, correct?
3,
3?
at about
30?
25 to 30 per person, per open vacancy. From
20 to 25.
20 to 25.
$75,000.
$75,000 potentially.
I move to reduce this budget by $50,000.
I second it.
Right, any further discussions?
What's the justification?
I just went through it.
Unfilled.
Excuse me?
I just went through it, sir.
So my concern with that reduction is we're trying to fill these positions. And if we don't have the money to offer the benefits for them when we hire or fill those positions, then
Well, but you do. So if you found a fantastic applicant that you're saying, I need to have that applicant, then you go hire that applicant, right?
It's not that easy.
Because it's a bottom line budget. You take from the giant pile of money, hire the person because they're such an outstanding applicant, you want to get them.
Yep.
I highly encourage that. And then, you then deprioritize other things that might not be in the category of hiring that outstanding applicant.
I made my decision based on leaving one of those in there
Oh, there you
for
go.
that one reason.
Understood.
Excellent. So we're leaving one extra.
We're leaving
in there.
one in
All
there.
right. So there's some
And then
extra
two.
wiggle room.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a motion
And a second.
to reduce the budget by 50,000. We had a second. Other than the discussion that's been had, any other discussions, comments? All right, all in favor of the proposal by Nolan? Any opposed? Any abstained? Okay.
Yes. I make a motion to approve the Human Resource Department budget of $2,918,489.
Second.
what specifically is the increase here? Insurance, right?
And mostly insurance, yes.
Mostly insurance.
Yes.
And then
Insurance
and
premiums
and retirement went up.
and retirement.
Yes.
All right, any other discussions in regards to this HR personnel budget? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Any abstained? All right, so that's the last budget for tonight. Any new business, old business before I ask for public comment? Yes, Greg?
Mr. Chair, I had texted the town attorney about RSA 3275, I believe is what you had asked about, Mr. Pelletier.
3215,
3215.
5.
Basically, he wrote that the statute exists to prevent disproportionate representation of certain bodies on the budget committee, the budgets of which the committee will be acting upon. Since this budget committee does not act upon the school district being a regional budget, and they have a separate budget committee, would not apply to Ms. Knutson sitting on this budget committee. He also points to RSA 669:7, which says that no selectman, town manager, school board member, except a cooperative school board member, so on and so forth, may serve as a budget committee member at large under RSA 32.
In all due fairness, Mr. Colby, we write in our policy, it states that we fall to Article 32 as our defining chapter. And it's pretty clear that and I'm not saying we can talk about,
Well, I point to the 669:7 as well.
So then maybe we should look at updating the procedure. Yeah, budget committee.
Well,
No,
Make sure it's accurate,
well,
right?
Mr. DeRoche,
Wouldn't
we
that be,
did talk about that in the beginning, all right? And our rules and procedures. So, but now we're just gonna not, it
Well,
says
if
one,
it's-
it
if
says
it's such a
something.
sticking point now, then let's have the chair put it on the agenda and we can do it as
could be a policy change. All I'm stating is that
Part
if we
of
have, if there's policy and procedure in place and we directly point to it and it's clear in its definition, 5 is clear, whether or not it's the intent or not doesn't matter.
Right, but Paul-
If we need to adjust the policy,
Yeah.
we can adjust the policy. And if we had legal here tonight, we might have been able to go through this and actually talk this out.
but he couldn't be here,
No,
unfortunately.
so correct me if I'm wrong, guys, Jay and Greg. So procedure always defaults to RSA. So if RSA supersedes procedure, correct? So procedure is misworded or incorrect or incomplete, RSA always supersedes that.
How's it incorrect?
If the wording's not clear, so you can have a conflict. Procedures can say something that doesn't follow RSA.
But it is. It says that we're governed by a particular
Chapter
RSA,
32.
Chapter 32, full stop.
No, right, but the procedures could be wrong. Procedures have been wrong since I've been on the board before, or incomplete.
Okay.
So then I have default
I
to-
mean, it says something.
Okay, so it will default to legal when they're able to discuss it when legal's here.
Okay. I mean, if you wanted to have, to suspend the rules, you would have something that says that our policy and procedure allows us to suspend rules. We don't have that. All right. Other boards have that procedure in place, that if we want to vote to suspend any particular rule or procedure, we can, but you don't. I mean, so we're just going to make it up and say that, well, we want to be able to suspend the rules, but it doesn't say it, but we're going to kind of do it.
We're not suspending rules, we're following RSA.
Right, RSA 32.
So we'll pause until legal can give us clarity. Legal's given us clarity 3 different times. So we'll wait until legal's present. Any other old new business before Ms. Holly speaks in front of us?
RSA is state law.
Yes.
RSA is state law.
Correct.
I agree.
I concur.
Holly, do you want to go?
For the record, Holly Patterson, 24 Brady Circle. Thank you for hearing me. Couple.
And I will add it to the agenda, public comment, I'll add to the agenda going forward. It should have been on this week's.
Okay, thank you. And I'm not sure if it's procedure, but it might be more effective if questions can be asked about particular budgets, because I'm going to ask questions now.
Yeah, so I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Jay and Greg, that's appropriate for the deliberate session,
Public hearing.
public hearing. Questions about the budget?
Isn't this a public hearing?
No, this
No,
is
it's a public
It's a
meeting.
meeting.
No,
Okay. Semantics, but that's fine. So I'm just going to dump my questions. The Rec Commission has $27,500 for summer rec. That's just kind of no man's land. It's just sitting there with no explanation of what it is. And, oh, by the way, the budget Excel spreadsheet that was sent out Wednesday is not current. So it does have the $300 and some odd thousand to the Board of Selectmen, because I pulled it up and printed it out, dumped it in Excel.
We'll get it updated and we'll repost it. Thank you.
So the 27.5 seems like if it's a rec to Ms. Collins.
It's Mrs. Collins.
Mrs., thank you. Mrs. Collins' point, if a rec department program is going to be canceled, the money's not spent and or it's self-sustaining. So why is the taxpayer paying 27.5 to subsidize the rec program for summer? So that's a question. Is there a specific RSA that speaks to the inability to allocate benefit costs to various departments? You raised question on whether there was one person in a budget or not. But if there is a particular RSA that does not allow that, it would be beneficial. If I need to do this as a right to know, I'm happy to do that as well. But I don't know if anybody knows that answer.
Not that I'm aware of, that there's an RSA that defines that. I think it's a matter of, and I could be wrong, it might be a matter of how we build the budget,
Okay.
right? At the discretion of how Plastow builds the budget.
The only requirement is to report the budget to DRA using their chart of accounts on the proper forms, which we do. After that, it's up to the Board of Selectmen and the town to adopt a budget or budget how they see fit.
Okay. So you're saying that the town of Plastow could potentially change, if I'm hearing you correctly, the town of Plastow could potentially change to allocate benefit costs to the various departments. Is that correct? Is that my interpretation of what you said?
Sure.
I mean, because I have everybody's payroll from 2024. I have a list of every vendor that we paid in 2024. It's public info, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of that, are collective bargaining agreements public info?
Yeah, if you go onto the state website, to the Public Employee Labor Relation Board site, you can access any one that's there.
For any town?
BELRB.
Are hours there, is the question.
Yes, they're
Okay.
there. All public CBAs for all towns, communities, they're all located there.
Okay, thank you so much. Reference to legal fees, as I was looking at the spreadsheets, you were talking about, and it was raised a variety of times at deliberative as well as various meetings about the legal costs. And I heard you mention that, and I thought I saw the number of 107,000 spent to date as of September for legal expense in defending.
I think that
No,
was,
that's not correct.
Is that
It was
I
last
said it was
year?
107,000 spent for 2024, and for 20, through 9 months of this year, we're at 75 and change.
Okay. So one of the arguments was that, and how much was the statistical, whatever it was that happened? Do you know that number off the top of your head by chance?
110,000 to 110 to 120, I believe.
So I can appreciate, my question is, we just spent 120,000 and our legal expense in that year really wasn't that much different, maybe 30,000. So we spent 120 to offset 30,000 in increased legal cost? Because that was the argument that the commercial properties are killing us in going to the state.
That is a very simplified explanation and is not accurate, in my opinion,
Why is it not accurate?
because the legal cost, if we lose the case, which they're challenging this particular taxpayer, 23 and 24, could run in the neighborhood of 200,000 to 300,000 if we lose. So that is what we are protecting against.
Okay, so the residents of this town paid an extra $80,000 right now for statistical analysis when there's some discussion and thought, big picture thought, that a true reevaluation has a better impact and a more fair allocation of tax resources. So I'm confused why this money was spent. I mean, I agree with dropping the budget. However, I would much rather pay for the full reevaluation if that is a more equitable treatment to the taxpayer. Having been at deliberative, it was spoken by the residents that they weren't going to spend that money this year. And then somehow it happened.
I remember it differently. As I stated before, that the meeting, there was a motion by one of the board members to increase the budget by that. And people said no to increasing the budget, that you need to find the money in the budget. They didn't oppose the statistical update.
Was it on the warrant? Was there a warrant article that stipulated should we or shouldn't we have? So I
No.
beg to differ.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay,
If it was on a warrant article and it was voted down, then
It
it
was.
would no means no. It wasn't on a warrant article.
the warrant article failed.
No, there was an amendment to the warrant article that failed. That's
I'll go
not
back
went
and
in
read it.
front of the voters to be voted on. The amendment during deliberative session failed, and that didn't go to the voters. The full town meeting.
Okay, I will go back, thank you. I did hear reference, and I appreciate this budget committee and even the select board's concern about like cost of living and salary being a fixed, cost. My question to you is, you're talking about, public employees. Most of your residents who live in this town are not public employees. How many of your residents are actually getting cost of living increases that are akin to what we're pushing through on the budgets? How many are, you're assuming that, and trust me, I understand that the cost of living is going up, but to pass on to the taxpayer automatic cost of living adjustments on salaries when many, if not most of your taxpayers aren't getting the same, should be a factor because it doesn't seem to be equitable. What are the employees' shares of contributing to retirement? What do they kick in?
The 85% versus in 15% split. So 85% is paid for by the town, 15% is paid by the employee.
Okay, so 15% of their salary goes to retirement for every employee?
No, 15% of the cost of the healthcare is paid for by the
Oh,
employee.
healthcare, but I
not
said retirement.
15% of the salary.
I asked for retirement, sorry.
Retirement depends on the group that they are involved in. There's police, there's fire, there is the employee. There's three,
Mhm.
and it's 7, 11 point, there's a different 11.3 and 11.8.
How much do the employees contribute?
The employees, I just said, 7, 11.3 and 11.8.
And so two of them are contractual and the other, every employee contributes 7? I'm trying to understand.
You are very confusing at this point. Contractually, when you say, are you talking retirement or health insurance?
I asked for retirement.
Retirement. New Hampshire retirement system requires the employee to contribute 7% of their earnings to Group 1 if they are an employee. Group 2 covers police and fire.
That's fine,
The
thank you.
employees are required to do, I believe it's 11.3 and 11.8, but don't quote me on that. It's a little over 11. And it's different for fire and police. You can go to the NHRS website and search contribution rates, and you can get all that information. It's all publicly available.
I thank you. All I really needed to know was that they actually do contribute. That's
Yes, they
great.
do.
And the percentage of insurance that employees, non-collective bargaining, what do town employees who are not part of a collective bargaining agreement, what percentage do they pay? Of
For
health insurance.
Health insurance, that is the
15?
85-15. They pay 15%.
Okay. So if I'm a family plan at $30,000,
It's 26,000 roughly, yeah,
is it? Okay.
roughly.
I just want to make sure that I'm understanding the numbers so that also our taxpayers do.
Right.
So 26,000 times 15% is $3,900 for a family plan. And how often are people paid? Twice a month? Biweekly? So let's just say biweekly. On 26 payments, a family plan is costing a town employee $150. Here. In the real world, it's costing on a 24-week pay cycle $3,000. There's a huge disparity.
Yep. Greg, do you want to speak to where the town of Plastow falls in regards to other government agencies in regards to the reimbursement?
I mean,
It's fair.
I see the emails asking that come over the manager's listserv, and there are many, many communities that require less of an employee contribution than
What
Plastow.
would you say Plastow's probably compared to the rest of the
We're
state?
average to maybe asking more of the employees than the others.
Okay, thank you.
So
That's what I thought. Any other comments, Holly?
I will look at the collective bargaining. I guess my comment would be that I would ask this board and also the select board, there is a huge disparity between the public sector employee and the private sector employee. And it feels to me as a private sector employee that you are tone deaf to what the average person is experiencing. $150 for a family plan is, hell, I ought to quit my job and come work for the town. Because
We are looking.
at the cost that your taxpayers are paying, all we're asking is that you be considerate of that.
Okay,
Okay? Other than that, I'm good.
understand. Thank you, Holly, for your
Thank you.
participation. Before we adjourn the meeting, any other questions or comments before the next meeting? All right, so let's end the meeting at 8:05 PM. And next week, we'll pick up with general government buildings. I'm sorry, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Next week's Veterans Day, correct? Yeah, those are yours. We'll let Donna take them.